Hello, crafty friends. This is Yana Smakula. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I continue to introduce you to the new products in my new City Holiday collection with Spellbinders. I already shared a video talking about the City Holiday die, that beautiful apartment building, of course, the collection introduction. And in this video, I want to focus on the Shadow Joy die. So this is one of the simpler dies in this collection. But it's one of those dies where you can make it into a simple die cut, or you can step it up and make it really advanced and layered. So let me quickly show you the products or the dies that are included in this die set. So there are actually several dies, but there are two main dies. There is this Joy, and then there's the Shadow Joy. Now you can use these separately, meaning you can use just the Joy, or you can use these two together. So you have the Joy and the Shadow. Let me show you examples so you have a better idea of what I'm talking about, because, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So here is a card where I used just the Joy die without the Shadow, and you can see that it creates a beautiful bold Joy for an A2 card. So this is size to fit A2 card, 4¼ by 5½ inches. This can of course work on larger size cards. I do have a 5×7 card example, and I'll show you that in just a second. Here for this Joy die, I embellished it using the wreath and the little banners from the City Holiday die, and then a little bow from the Christmas cracker die. And then I just added a simple sentiment. My greatest present is to have you by my side. And I foiled this. This is using a sentiment from this collection. This was foiled using red foil on white cardstock. And then to create a background, I used this beautiful Better Press plate. This is not a part of my collection, but this is also from Spellbinders, and I foiled it using opal foil on the Spellbinders Breeze cardstock. So this shows you how you can use the Joy die alone without the Shadow. Here I have it cut out from light pink cardstock. If you want, you can of course add the Shadow piece, and these two layer together beautifully. I have die cut the Shadow to demonstrate this, and let me quickly grab some glue and adhere the two together just so that I walk you through the entire process. Okay, I'm going to use barely art glue, add a bit of glue from the back, and stick the two pieces together. In some cases, I added additional layers to the main Joy die, just so that it's thicker and sturdier and more dimensional. But the whole idea of this die set is to create a flat piece. Okay, and we also have the tittle, and there's even a shadow for the tittle. So this is what the Joy die looks like with the Shadow. And let me quickly show you an example. Here we go. Here is a card example where I used gold glitter cardstock for the main Joy, and then mirror gold cardstock for the Shadow. Now the Joy itself is popped up quite a lot. I have a layer of foam adhesive from the back, so it's quite dimensional on my finished card. So this gives you an idea of how you can use just these two pieces together. Here is another card example where, again, I have just the Joy and the Shadow, and you can see what this looks like. And here is one more. This is the 5×7 card. Again, I have the Joy die cut and then the Shadow cut from Mirror Gold. The Joy is cut from the Oceanside cardstock from Spellbinders, and it's a beautiful 5×7 card, just with a little sub-sentiment here at the bottom, a mirror everything and happy always. The sentiment also comes from my collection. And then we have some foliage, and all the other foliage that you saw on the other cards, that's also from my collection, from the Christmas cracker die set. And you also have these cute little berries done in white. So this shows you the Shadow Joy. Now, you will also find additional dies in this die set, and these might seem weird. They might seem odd to you at first, but they are there in case you want to add additional interest, additional accents to your joy die cuts. So here, there are two groupings. You'll see that these are grouped, and you will want to cut them from different colors of cardstock to have the best results. So I cut the group with the fewer pieces from the Mirror Gold, and let me go ahead and add those onto my card so that you can see the different effect that you can achieve by adding these pieces. Again, I'm using my Barely Art glue. I'm just going to add these quickly. You do want to make sure that your joy and shadow joy are adhered correctly so that the shadow pieces fall into place correctly as well. And all of these line up nicely on your finished die cuts. Okay, we also have this little piece for the inside of the loop on the Y. I'm going to add this one as well. And then a few more pieces. It's going to be tricky the very first time you assemble this piece because it's going to be a little bit difficult to figure out where each piece goes. But once you add them a few times, it's going to be, it's going to add to get easier. So this one goes here. Then we have just this one left, and it goes right here. No, I don't think, yeah, it does. Just upside down. Okay, there we go. So here you already can see how we added a different color of cardstock and how much that added to the overall look of the Joy die cut. So I think that looks really, really cool. Now, these other pieces, this other die, it will cut pieces to fill out the rest of the shadow pieces on your die cut. You can skip those, or you can go ahead and add them if you want to have a flat piece. Right now, there is a little bit of, height difference, I would say, because there is an extra layer of cardstock added in some areas. If you want a completely flat die cut, you would go ahead and cut this piece from a different color of cardstock. I went ahead and cut this one from the same Dahlia cardstock as I used for the shadow piece, just so that I have everything flush and level. So you just go ahead and add those onto your die cut. And once you're done, you have a beautiful, beautiful finished piece. Let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be back to show you the finished piece. And there we go. Our Joy die cut is finished. We also have the star dies included in this die set. There are 3 dies or 3 stars, and you can cut these from, different colors of cardstock to embellish your die cut. Here on this card, I cut them from red and gold, the same colors I used for the shadow pieces and the main piece, to embellish the background and just have some stars scattered here and there. So let me show you a few more card examples. Here is a beautiful Joy done in red and again in gold with a lot of foliage from the Christmas Cracker die set. Here, this card is probably the most unique. I went ahead and I die cut 4 Joy pieces, but I use them to rather frame a sentiment in the center. So I have a beautiful sentiment. It says, at Christmas time and all year through, so thankful to have great friends like you. Now here, you might have noticed there is an E missing. I was using a prototype sentiment, so it didn't have an E. Your sentiment will have an E, and it's all going to look nice. But here, I just added the Joy die cuts around the sentiment in the center, and that helped frame and, pull the eye of the viewer to the center of my card to read that message. So this is a look at the Shadow Joy die from my City Holiday collection with Spellbinders. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will give this die set a try. Thanks so much for joining me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!